Hey, what's going on? Sir Blackson97 here, back with another deck profile. Today we're returning to the tried and true Rockets. This was the first deck profile we ever did on the channel, and similar to Cybers, it's one that we've used quite often in remote duels, and one that I'm super fond of. So, returning to our roots and returning to where it all started for deck profiles, I'm super excited to jump back into this. So, without further ado, let's start off with our extra deck, as is tradition, with Striker Dragon. Level 4 or lower Dragon Monster is the material. If he's link summoned, you get to search for Boot Sector Launch, which is the Rocket field spell. Super handy. You also get to target a face-up monster you control and a Rocket in the grave, destroy the monster in the field, and then add the monster from grave back to hand. So nice little recovery in addition to a search. So you can get use of Boot Sector Launch, especially off of that recovery effect. Up next, we got Guard Dragon and Bystial. Similar summoning conditions. You cannot special summon monsters except for dragons. And during the main phase, you get to target a dragon that is banished or in the grave. Special summon it to a zone 2 or more link monsters point to. You can also use Bystial's link. So that's nice. You don't have to make 2 new links in addition to him. You can actually use him as well. This is the only Guard Dragon link that isn't banned. So if LP or Argapane ever come back, definitely want to consider running them as well. But Bystial gets the job done for recovery. Next up, we have Dragoon Knight Romulus, 2 dragon and or wing beast monsters that aren't tokens. If it's link summoned, you get to grab a Dragoonity Speller Trap or Dragon Ravine from deck to hand. If a dragon monster is special summoned to a zone he points to, you can special summon another dragon or wing beast monster from hand in defense position, but its effects are negated and that monster cannot be used as link material. So that just sets us up for our synchro monsters. Similar to the Cybers deck, we're running pretty much all links except for the last monster, which is a synchro. So Romulus just kind of helps out bridging into him, which is cool. Moving on to the link 2s, we have 2 copies of IP Masquerena, 2 non-link monsters. During your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect link summon using materials you control, including her, and a link monster that uses IP Masquerena as material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So nice little quick effect link summon, and it gives protection onto our monsters that we use her with, so very nice. Onto the Rocket focused link 2s, we have Booster Dragon, Quad Boral Dragon, and 2 copies of Dillingerous Dragon. We'll start with Booster Dragon. His materials are exclusively Rockets. Once per turn, you can target one other face-up card on the field, gains 500 attack and defense. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to Booster Dragon, similar to your Boral links. And if this link summon card is ever destroyed by battle or card effect, you can float back into a dragon from grave. That dragon doesn't have to be a Rocket, so it does give you a little bit of variety there. Quad Boral, a little bit more generic. 2 dragon monsters, that's just one of them has to be a Rocket. You can discard a card and target a face-up monster on the field. You cannot link summon link 2 or lower monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Also destroy the targeted monster. If you destroyed a link, you can special summon any number of Rockets with different names from hand or grave up to that monster's link rating. So it's a nice little removal effect. Kind of weird that it locks you out of link 2 or lowers, but the idea here is you can go into your bigger Boral monsters, so stuff like Boral Load, Boral End Dragon are a little bit closer to get to, thanks to Quad Boral. Or you can use my personal favorite, Dillingerous Dragon, 2 Dark Dragon monsters, once per turn during your opponent's end phase. You can target and destroy an attack position monster they control that did not declare an attack this turn, and then burn them for that monster's original attack. Despite the situational-ness of this effect, I've actually pulled it off twice. Granted, that's been out of like dozens of duels, so it's not impossible to pull off, but your opponent kind of has to just forget about that's there and just choose not to attack, so keep that in mind. If a Rocket monster is ever special summoned to your field while Dillingerous is in the grave, you can special summon him back, but banish him when he leaves the field, so this is kind of similar to Quad Boral. This is more of just an extender in himself. Basically, get him into the grave, special summon a Rocket, get him back out, and you're able to climb into your Borals that way as well. Onto our link 3s, we got 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Triple Burst Dragon. Nightmare Unicorn needs 2 or more monsters with different names. If she's link summoned, we get to discard a card, 2 target a card in the field, and shuffle it back into the deck. If she was co-linked when that effect is activated, we get to draw a card. And during the draw phase, we can draw additional cards for every different named co-linked Nightmare monster we have on the field. We're only using her, so the effect won't come off, but if you want to splash in more Nightmares just to refill your hand, that's another way to go, but the target to shuffle a card back into the deck is super handy regardless. Triple Burst Dragon. Similar to Romulus, we can't use tokens, but we just need to use 2 or more monsters. Once per turn, during the damage step, when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, quick effect negate that activation. He does piercing damage, and during the main phase, except the turn he was special summoned, tribute him to target a Link 2 or lower monster in the grave, special summon it, and then also special summon a level 4 or lower dragon monster from the hand. So nice little triple burst, triple threat, piercing damage, revival, and the nice little damage step negation, which is pretty handy. Our Link 4s, the stars of our show, and what we'll usually end on is Boral Sword and Access Code Dragon. We'll start with Boral Sword Dragon. Did I say Access Code Dragon? Access Code Talker, excuse me. Jeez. Boral Sword needs 3 or more effect monsters, can't be destroyed by battle. Once per turn, quick effect, target an attack position monster, change it to defense position. Boral Sword gets an additional attack this turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to that, similar to all other Borals and Booster. Also, once per turn, when he declares an attack on a face-up monster, you can activate this effect until the end of the turn. He gains attack equal to half that monster's current attack, and that monster gets its attack halved. It's a nice little Ryuryoku effect in addition to the battle change and multi-attacking. If you make him with IP Masquerena, he's immune to battle and card effect destruction. Very cool. Access Code Talker just needs 2 or more effect monsters. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to his activations, almost like he's a Boral monster. If he's Link summoned, you get to target a Link monster that was used as material. It gains attack equal to its Link rating times 1,000, so this guy can really get boosted up on attack. You can also banish a Link monster from field or grave to destroy a card our opponent controls. We can continually use this effect as long as we banish different attributes. We're pretty much running mostly darks, but with 1 wind, that being Romulus, so you'll probably just get 1, maybe 2 uses out of that effect per turn, but still. Boosting himself up with a bunch of attack, he's a really nice game ender regardless. And then finally, our massive Link 5 Boral End Dragon. 3 or more effect monsters, can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and neither player can target him with monster effects. He can attack all monsters our opponent controls once each, and quick effect. We can target an effect monster on the field and a Rokket in the grave, negate the effects of the monster on the field, and then special summon that Rokket back from the graveyard. Our opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to Boral End effect activations. This thing's awesome. This really is your end board, no pun intended. You don't even need IP Masquerena, just go into this guy. Pretty much immune from destruction and targeting, multi-attacking, and nice little spot negation, and just makes more Rokkets, so you can continue your plays from there. Really nice. And of course, as mentioned, our 1 Synchro, Scarlight, Red Dragon, Archfiend. Its name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while it's on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, we can destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to Scarlight's. Then we can inflict 500 damage to our opponent for each monster destroyed. He doesn't destroy himself, worth noting, so that's nice. It is generic, so pretty much any tuners you have can just go into this guy, and just Romulus helps set up getting into him faster. But nice little field removal there. Just remember to get your stuff that's immune to card effect destruction before activating this effect, or you might accidentally clearing parts of your field you didn't want to. Just something to make note of. Moving on to the main deck. Since we have a Synchro, we may as well start off with our tuners. 1 Rokket Synchron, 2 Rokket Tracer. It is a Synchron monster, so it is a tuning target. Very nice. Start off with Rokket Tracer, though. Quick effect, target a face-up card you control, destroy it. Special summon a Rokket monster from deck, except for Tracer. Then you get locked into Dark monsters from the extra deck. Nice little generic level 4 tuner. Pretty much just puts you into Dark monsters, which is most of our extra deck aside from Romulus. Even Scarlight is Dark attribute, so still helps you set up for your Synchro plays in addition. So he's not too restrictive. Rokket Synchron, when he's normal summon, target a level 5 or higher Dark Dragon in the grave. Special summon in defense position, its effects are negated, and it blows up during the end phase. And we also get locked into Darks from the extra deck. So if you grab a level 7, you can just easily go into a level 8 Synchro. Which thankfully we have plenty of level 7s, so that will come in handy. Onto our other Rokkets, we have 1 Magna Rokket, 1 Auto Rokket. When a Link monster's effect is activated that targets them on the field, quick effect, they destroy themselves. Magna Rokket then sends a monster on the field to grave, not targeting, non-destruction, while Auto Rokket does the same thing for spells and traps, which is very cool. During the end phase, if they're in the graveyard because they were destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, they then float into a Rokket monster not named themselves. So, very nice floating, nice little, easily you can target them with any of your Boral links or just monsters in general. They'll blow themselves up and then immediately get their unique effects off. Nice little removal there, but you can easily go into other cards. There are plenty of others, like Silver Rokket's a nice little extra deck rip, so you got plenty of options. Shell Rokket's a nice little niche sort of column removal. So there's plenty of cool stuff you can do there. A new addition to the Rokket deck is not even a dragon, it's a Cybers. 2 copies of Rokket Coder can be used as link summon of a Boral monster. It gets treated as a dragon. If a Cybers monster you control will be used as link material for a Code Talker monster, this card in the hand can be used as material. And if a card you control will be used as link material for a Boral monster, a dark monster in your hand can also be used as material. So whether he's on the field or in the hand, easily make use of him. Especially if he's on the field, you can just snag dark monsters from the hand to make a Boral monster. Or you can just put one on the field, use the other in the hand, and go into Access Code Talker that way. So very interesting card. It's both a Cybers and pretty much a Boral extender, but it's also a Rokket too. So it's searchable and summonable off of your other stuff. 1 copy of Rokket Recharger. If a dark monster you control, special summon from the extra deck, is destroyed by battle or card effect, send him from hand or field to grave to target one of those destroyed monsters. Special summon a dark monster from the grave with a different name than the targeted monster. And while you control a dark monster, special summon from the extra deck, your opponent cannot target Recharger for attacks. It's a nice little niche kind of monster reborn, plus he's immune to targeting as long as you have a friend out on the field. Very cool. As mentioned, our designated level 7 dragon, pretty useful too, is 2 copies of Apso Router Dragon. It's a free special summon if you control a Rokket, and if it's sent to the graveyard in any way, Foolish Burial from the field, you get to add a Rokket from deck to hand. Pretty much just an awesome card. You don't need to max out on him as he does brick sometimes, but 2 copies is pretty much the go-to ratio for him. Just anytime you have a Rokket, it's a free material pretty much to climb into your Link 2s. And as mentioned, it's level 7, so it's the ideal target for Rokket Synchron to go into your Scarlight. Or Borreload Savage if he ever comes off the ban list. That's probably the quintessential Synchro for the deck, but we're sticking with Scarlight for the time being. Up next, we have 3 copies of Gateway Dragon. If your opponent controls a Link monster, it's a free special summon. Also, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Dark Dragon monster from your hand once per turn. So, easy Link 2, or pretty much setting up for that level 8 Synchro if you grab Tracer. This thing's just pretty awesome. Just kind of helps extend your plays. Ideally, this is how you would get into Dillinger's Dragon, get that into the grave, and then just continue your Link climbs from there. Up next, we have 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. You can target a Red Eyes monster you control, equip it from hand or field to that monster to give it 600 attack. If it's also sent from the field to the grave, you can add a Red Eyes card from deck to hand. It's a pretty nice link into the Vrains target. It's a good 1-for-1 target. Anytime you get it onto the field, immediately go into something like Striker Dragon or Pisty, and then get your search off into your Red Eyes. There are 2 ideal targets for this. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, but we also have Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, just to kind of help extend into that max Metal Morph engine. Starting with Darkness Metal, you can special summon it from the hand by banishing a face-up dragon you control, and once per turn, you can snag a dragon monster from hand or grave back onto your field. So, easy summon, pretty good stats, and helps recover your dragon so you can continue your climbs from there. Essentially, the method is to just get Black Metal onto the field. As I mentioned, go into Striker or Pisty, get them out of there, search for your metal, banish that Link monster you just summoned, and then start reviving your cards, including Black Metal Dragon, and then just climb from there into your links. You can also go into Black Full Metal Dragon, can't be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with Max Metal Morph, that was activated by tributing a level 5 or higher dragon monster. You can also reveal him into the hand to set a Metal Morph trap from deck, and then shuffle this guy back into the deck. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, negate the activation, and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of one attack position monster they control. So nice little negation and burn. Alternatively, you can also run Metal Zoa X, that you would just need to tribute a level 5 or higher machine, His is more, instead of negation, he just does destruction. And I believe his is a twice per turn effect. So you can either choose between negation and burn with full metal, or just removal with Metal Zoa X. But something to consider there. Just kind of vary up your max Metalmorph engine, but full metal pretty much gets the job done. Onto our Bystial engine. 3 copies of Lubellion, 1 Magnum Hut, 1 Baldrake. We'll start off with Lubellion. Pretty much can't be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from the hand or grave by tributing a level 6 or higher Dark Dragon monster, which pretty much covers your other Bystials, in addition to stuff like Full Metal or Red Eyes Darkness Metal, or Apsarouter Dragon as well. If you want to get him into the grave for the Synchron, you can send him from hand or grave to add a Bystial monster from deck to hand, and if he's on the field during the main phase, you can place a branded continuous spell or trap from your deck face up onto the field. So it easily gets you access to your branded spells and traps, and is just pretty easy to summon. Bystial Magnum Hut and Baldrake, they both have the shared summoning condition of targeting a lighter dark monster in either grave to banish it. Becomes a quick effector if our opponent controls a monster. And for their unique effects, Magnum Hut, if you special summon you can activate the effect during the end phase of this turn to add a dragon from deck or graveyard to hand. Nice, that also recovers from graveyard, so you can make use some of your other Rocket effects, or just get Apsarouter back onto the field, which is pretty cool. Baldrake. If your opponent special summons a Ritual Fusion Synchro Xyz and or Link monster, you can tribute one other lighter dark monster to target one of those special summon monsters and then banish it. So a nice little way to just get rid of your opponent's big stuff or any threatening cards they come out. Just make sure that card has no form of targeting immunity, otherwise you'll just kind of have to sit there and deal with it, but we do have other ways to get rid of cards on the field, stuff like Magna Rocket, so even if your opponent does bring out something that can't be targeted by Baldrake, just go with Magna Rocket and just remove it from the field altogether. Moving on to the spells, we'll start with our field spells. 2 copies of Boot Sector Launch, 1 Dragon Ravine. Boot Sector Launch, all Rockets on the field gain 300 attack and defense, and you get to activate one of these effects. Special summon up to 2 Rockets with different names from hand to defense position, and if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, special summon Rockets with different names from the grave in defense position up to the difference. So either swarm from hand or just recover from grave. It's also searchable off of Striker Dragon or stuff like Terraforming, so you're never too far away from Boot Sector. Dragon Ravine, it's searchable off of Romulus or again Terraforming. Once per turn, discard a card, activate one of these effects to either add a level 4 lower Dragoonity from deck to hand, so we can add a small Dragoonity package if you want, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to use the second effect, which is send a dragon monster from deck to grave. So it helps us fill up our grave. Obviously we can just foolish out Apsarouter Dragon, get that search off, or just go into other stuff so that way we can recover it with Darkness Metal Dragon, or just get those Bystials ready to go. Especially with Lubellion, where you can just immediately revive him by tributing a Dark Dragon, so there are plenty of options to go to with Dragon Ravine. Moving on to some of our Rocket spells, we have 3 copies of Quick Launch. Absolutely want to max out on this sucker. Special summon a Rocket from deck, cannot attack, and is destroyed during the end phase. This is just an emergency teleport for your deck, gets you access to your Rockets, helps you start or extend your plays, which is pretty awesome. For draw power, we have 1 copy of Prosperity, 2 copies of Squib Draw. Squib Draw says target a Rocket monster we control, destroy it, and then draw 2 cards. Nice little way to get a nice little advantage of a Pot of Greed, but what's also cool is since we destroyed stuff like Magna Rocket or Auto Rocket, they'll then float into a different named Rocket during the end phase. So if we have IP Masquerade on the field, we essentially just removed the downside of destroying a monster, and we can easily just link climb during our opponent's turn. In addition to, just drawing 2 cards, which is awesome. Pot of Prosperity, banish 3 or 6 cards from our choice from the extra deck face down. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, our opponent takes half damage of battle or effect. We excavate cards from the top of our deck equal to the number of cards banished. We add one of those excavated cards to the hand, and then place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. We cannot draw cards by card effects the turn we activate Prosperity. This is just a nice way to dig through our deck, banish our stuff from the extra decks, so running extra copies of stuff like Dilindris, IP Masquerena, not the end of the world there. We can easily just banish those and make use of the second copies. And then we can just excavate into our additional stuff to continue our plays. As mentioned, for field spell searching, we have 1 copy of Terraforming. This just gets us access to Boot Sector or Ravine, in case our Romulus or Striker Dragon got Ash Blossomed. Next up, a unique card similar to Rocket Coder. We have 3 copies of Link into the Vrains. Special summon a monster from hand, negates effects, then immediately after this effect resolves, link summon a link monster using monsters we control, including that monster. This link summon cannot be negated. Our opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is link summoned this way. And if a link monster we control destroyed by battle or card effect while it's in the grave, banish this card to add a monster from graveyard to our hand with the same type as one of those destroyed monsters. This thing's pretty awesome. It pretty much just gets our play started. Doesn't really need to commit our normal summon, which is cool. So as long as you have some sort of archetypal Link 1 or a Link 1 monster you can easily get into, stuff like Magical Musketeers will also make use of this with Max, or stuff like the Orcus Link 1 using stuff hopefully like Harp Horror. Easily get Harp Horror into the grave, banish it for an Orcus from deck. But this guy's just awesome, especially in Rockets, where we can just go into something like Striker or Pisty, and then immediately continue our plays from there, not having to worry about our normal summon. Rockets, by nature, don't really have a special summoning condition. Usually you're just going off a boot sector launch or this. Plus it's also a nice little searcher of materials in case our links do get destroyed. So it does come in handy with recovery effects there as well. But if you ever have any deck that utilizes a lot of Link 1s, consider a copy of Link into the Vrains. Onto our traps, we have, as mentioned, Max Metalmorph, tribute a face-up monster to special summon a monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, and mentions Max Metalmorph from hand, deck, or grave. Then you get to equip Max Metalmorph onto it to give the following effect. The equipped monster gains 400 attack and defense, cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects, and cannot be targeted by spell or monster effects from our opponent. Nice little protection there, easily searchable off of black Full Metal. Feel free to splash in more copies, especially if you're running more of a bigger Max Metalmorph package, like stuff like Metal Zoa X or Metal Flame Swordsman as well. In which case there, you would just tribute your level 5 or higher warrior monster. As mentioned, for our branded spells and traps, we're running 1 copy of Beast. Once per turn during the main phase, if we control a Bystial monster, tribute a dragon to then target and destroy a card our opponent controls. And during the end phase, we can target a branded continuous spell or trap in the grave and place it face up on the field. Very nice. So similar to Lubellion, this one just helps recover our branded continuous spells and traps, and also just gives us a nice little form of removal. Branded Regain is another good one. That's their continuous spell. So if we want to use that as well, it does pair up nicely with our Bestials. And then finally, 2 copies of Solemn Warning. When a monster will be special summoned, or a spell or trap or monster effect is activated that includes the effect to special summon a monster, pay 2,000 life points to negate the summon or activation, and if we do, destroy it. Solemn Strike also comes in handy with just stopping monster effects or just special summons in general. But again, just kind of, or Solemn Judgment as well, if you just want to pay half your life points to just prevent anything else from happening. So nice little filler section there if you want to splash in other Solemn Traps or just any other stuff like Infinite Impermanence or Evenly Matched. Woo! That'll do it for today's Rocket deck profile. Thank you all for watching and for tuning in over the years. I've been Sir Blackson97. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.